Good afternoon, welcome to Hawkeye Skunk Works. This is the first video in a series that I'm going to call Car Tech Tips, for lack of a better name, I suppose. And if you're watching it, you already figured that out. So, what we're going to do today is we are going to use a fabric steamer to rebuild or re-expand foam out of the seat in your car. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but let me explain. Ever since I turned 14, 15 and got my first car, one of my biggest pet peeves has been seat foam that's been deteriorated over time. I've never had a new car, I've never had anything remotely close to a new car, and about 98% of my vehicles have all been four-wheel drive or trucks, and so they're taller, and then they got even taller when I got them. But anyway, people don't take the time to try to get in taller vehicles properly, thus deteriorating the side bolsters. Anyway, after having those vehicles for several years, you know, I've done just about everything under the sun. I've added foam, and I've added backing, like fiber backing to the bottoms of the seats to try and get them to sit up higher. I came across a YouTube channel, I believe technically it's called Ammo NYC. He's a guy that does detailing on extremely high-end vehicles, and to say this guy is beyond anything you've probably experienced is an understatement. I'll put a link to his channel below. If you don't really care about any of that stuff, you still might want to check it out because he works on some amazing, amazing cars. But in one episode, he had it was a Caprice or an Impala that he had had for many years, and it was time to get the seats redone. He got the seats reupholstered, and this guy used a steamer to re-expand, to build back up the foam. And I had never seen that before. So I decided I was going to try it on, at first I did on the driver's seat of my wife's Grand Cherokee. It worked fantastic. And so right now, today, I've got the passenger seat out of my Explorer. As you can see in the background, I'm sure, is my steamer. All this is, I don't even know what brand it is. This is a steamer that we got as a wedding gift or a shower gift. I think we got two of them, and I confiscated this one to use for my purposes. It's got an on-off switch. You fill it full of water, the steam comes out, and it's hot. It's really hot. If you guys never used one, be a little bit cautious. I never had used one, and it's hot, and they drip again, and it's hot. You're probably supposed to put distilled water in them. I don't know. I didn't read the instructions. We have a filter on the spigot in our sink, so I used filtered water to put in it, and so far so good. So without further ado, let's change this camera around and take a look at the foam and start steaming it. So basically, all you're going to do is just kind of hold the steamer wand up to the end, and I don't know if you guys will be able to see that or not, but it is pretty amazing. Any of the indentations in the foam, the wrinkles, they kind of just grow out of it, and it's really cool. Couple things I suppose that are worth mentioning. If you have a seat that is super busted up and like crumbling and cracked and stuff, this is not going to fix it, obviously. What this is just doing is just putting a little bit of body back into the foam that's been compressed over time and giving it some more spring. Now, when I did my wife's Jeep seat, it had some issues. It's a 16-year-old Jeep, and so the foam was not perfect, obviously, besides being just compacted. When I did this, it was a night and day difference in the feel of sitting in the seat. It was crazy how much difference, how much more spring it had, how much more cushiony it felt, and it's awesome. And I know I'm totally nerding out right now by doing this, but I'm sure some of you guys, you know, care about your rides, that got older rides that can't afford a brand spanking new one, you know, do this and you'll be totally happy. Don't be afraid to take apart a seat. If you have any mechanical ability at all, you can take apart a seat. It is not hard. Just because there's fabric and foam and stuff involved does not mean it's not like every other job that you've ever tackled on your vehicle that you didn't know how to do. You just dive in, take your time, be careful, and you know, do it. The warmer weather helps with fabric being stretchy. Just take your time. The covers will either be held on by, in this case, super heavy duty Velcro. You'll see right here. So just work your hands under the cover and be careful and undo it. Now you probably will experience this where it came off. They always do that to me. What I end up using is a high temperature glue gun, hot glue gun that I got at the craft store. Is like $8, and the high temperature, it helps melt the foam a little bit to the glue, and it bonds everything together. I'm sure you can use whatever you need. It's once the seat is on there and it's clipped around the base and stuff, it doesn't take much to keep it in place. So a little glue to put those back on, no big deal. If you've got an older car that uses hog rings, you know, it's a crimped wire loop basically. I use a pair of dikes, cut those off. You can either go down to your local hardware store and get them, and get a set of hog ring pliers, or just use a regular set of pliers. But something else that works really good, instead of the ring, just use zip strips, zip ties. That works excellent also, and they're a whole lot easier to crimp. There's a whole lot easier to cut off if you ever need to. And that's really all there is to it. You know. We spend a lot of time in our vehicles. We do a lot of traveling to go see family, and this is going to make a huge difference on those long road trips, just having this foam back together. Now again, like I was saying earlier, if your seat has got some major issues, it's really deteriorated, it's got some cracks in it, I use the high temp glue gun, smear a bunch of glue in the cracks and kind of pinch the foam back together, and that helps. So, another nerd tip for you: if you've got a driver's seat, bench seat that's really bad, go to your local junkyard, find the same vehicle, obviously, find a passenger seat that is in good shape, take it apart, use that foam on the driver's seat. It will be almost identical. Obviously, the sides where the seat belts and the hinges might be a little bit different here and there, and you might need to trim it, or it might be a gap here or there. But I've done it on several vehicles before I knew about doing this, and it has always worked. So, even a split bench or something will work because you can cut the foam down. Just get creative. Anyway, some of you guys might be wondering what that white thing is. That is an aftermarket heat seater that I got on eBay. They work really good. If you do use your vehicle a lot, get in and out of it, be prepared to order a new heating element every few years, which from what I understand on vehicles that are as old as mine anyway, that came with the factory heated seat, they're about the same quality and you have to replace them anyway. So, but they're cheap, especially in the Midwest. Leather seats, I do them in the last 3 or 4 vehicles I've had. It's kind of a must-have for us now. We're spoiled. So, but anyway, I hope you guys found that informational. I usually let it dry for a day or two just to make sure, because I don't want any mildew to build up. But within an hour or two, just sitting at room temperature, because the steam is so hot, it's pretty much dry. I'll put it in front of a box fan. Anyway, in the basement and let it ventilate and put the seat back together. Go ahead and do the backs of your seats too. You might not think that they're that bad, but I promise you, if you go ahead and do it, you will notice a difference in the support and the cushion. And So I hope you all enjoyed that. I hope that helped you out maybe with some projects. Keep checking back for more things like this. I'm going to do some more little tech tips. I'm going to do some DIY at-home powder coating. I've been doing that for a few years and had some really good luck with that. And just odds and ends here and there. As I've said before, I don't have a whole lot of spare cash to be doing stuff like this, buying new seats or having things powder coated professionally, but you can buy some equipment for relatively low investment that'll last you a long time and you'll be able to get a lot of use out of it. So thank you for tuning in. For any questions or inquiries about Hawkeye Skunk Works, head on over to our Facebook page. You can find us on Twitter. And as always, give us a thumbs up on the video and subscribe there. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Bye.